Okay, y'all saying, what about books? Okay, you gonna buy the books, and where you gonna bring the books to if you don't got no house? I'll wait. What is up, guys? We are back here again for another video, and by the title you guys probably already know what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about college. We're going to be talking about, you know, some tips or some college stuff that I think you guys should know that I used my freshman year, that I thought was very helpful for me. So, you know, as we all know, I go to FSU. You already know what it is. If you don't, now you know. So yeah, so I do go to FSU. I live in Tallahassee. I've been living in Tallahassee for about a year now. If you guys have been subscribers for a while, you know that you guys have seen my first video as a freshman. I actually link it down below. If you guys haven't seen it already, you can go ahead and check it out. And pretty much in that video, I'm just talking about my initial college feelings, like how I felt about the whole roommate situation, everything like that. But here, I've already been through a year of college, so I'm just going to be sharing with you guys the tips that I think are important, that I think y'all should implement. I do have them on my phone here, so I will be looking down a couple times just to, you know, get my notes together and things of that nature. So with that being said, let's get started. So first things first, number one, get to know your campus. And when I say get to know your campus, I'm talking about like learn where your classes are going to be. Like, for example, if your class schedule is already made, which more than likely you already have your schedule because you make it, being that we're in college now. So if you already have your class schedule, it's probably a good idea the night before classes start to maybe walk your campus. What I did last year for fall semester, my Karen Basser actually drove us around campus, and she showed us where certain buildings were, like where the buildings were, because I know personally, if you go to a school like mine that's big, like, or if you go somewhere like UCF, which is an even bigger school, your ass is grass. Like even after my first semester, on the first day of school, I was showing up to different buildings for different classes, because especially if you have an extensive schedule, because at the time when I was pre-med, my schedule was kind of weird looking, because there were times where I had labs and then there were times where I had recitation, and those things would be in different buildings. So it's really important to know your campus, because for example, I know a lot of schools, they utilize the first day attendance policy, especially for classes like labs or math classes where a lot of students are trying to get into it and the spots are filled. If you're not there the first day, you will be dropped. Yes, you will be dropped, regardless if you registered for that class like months in advance. They don't care, because guess what, there's a couple other kids trying to get your spot. So if you didn't show up the first day, and for whatever reason, or even if you showed up late and she already passed out that attendance sheet and you didn't get it or you weren't aware, you're dropped. And moving on, oh, that also goes for parking, y'all. Parking. When I say get to know your campus, I mean also learn the flow of your campus. For example, FSU parking is disgusting. It's trash. It's horrible. Just throw away the whole thing. Delete it. Cancel it. I don't know what else to say, because it don't make no sense. You will, FSU, like, if you show up to that parking garage, you will, in your mind, you will think like, am I Black Friday shopping? Am I looking for a parking spot? Because let's say you have a 11 o'clock class and you get there at 10:30 thinking that you are going to find a parking spot and get out and have time to walk to your class. You're wrong. You're just wrong, because that's not going to happen. Not at FSU, at least, and not at most universities. So definitely learn your campus. Know that, okay, if you have an 11 o'clock class, you probably need to get to campus at 10 o'clock, so that way you have the 30 minutes to find a parking spot, and the additional time to walk to class, actually get seated in class, and all of that good stuff. So the only time I would say it's okay to show up maybe 30 minutes before at FSU for parking is if you have an 8 a.m. If you have 8 a.m. classes or early morning classes, or if you, for example, want to go to the gym before class like 6 a.m. or something, more than likely there will be parking, because everybody's gone home besides the students who live there. So that's all I could say for parking. And parking as far as my school goes, I'm not sure how it works at other universities, but yeah, just get to know your campus, guys. Number two, make sure your professors know you. And at a university, that can be extremely hard. I will be the first to tell you, I'm sometimes in classes of 100 to 200 students. it's gonna be near impossible for the teacher to know your name just by you showing up to class. So what I would recommend is to sit in front and at least try to attend 1 or 2 office hours throughout the semester, because a lot of people don't realize it, but professors, they have office hours, and more than likely a lot of students aren't showing up. So if they have maybe 10 students out of the 100 showing up to their office hours, more than likely they're gonna remember you, even if they just seen you once. Like, I want you guys to understand, like, they literally have a roster of over 100 names. So I know for fall semester, when I was in college algebra, I really struggled with that class. So I was going to my teacher's help sessions, I was sitting in front of the room, till it got to the point where one day in class I raised my hand and she said, "Yes, Jada," and I was shook because like that class had like literally over 100 people. So that speaks volumes. If your teacher knows your name, if your teacher can identify you, if you're walking around on campus and your teacher knows you, you're winning. You're hashtag winning. Because you know, a lot of teachers, they'll say, oh, they don't round up grades, or oh, they don't do this, but trust and believe, everybody's human. So if that teacher is going through her roster, you know, at the end of the semester, and she sees your name and you're at 89, guess what, like, in a sense, you have built a relationship with that professor, so she will more than likely cut you slack or help you out in some type of way possible. So I think that's always important to remember. And also, I say sit in the front, not only to get to know your teacher, but also because it'll help you be more attentive. I know when I'm in the front, I'm a bit more subjective of what I do. Like, I won't be playing on my computer doing nonsense. I won't be on my phone, because A, I know the professor can see me, and B, I'm aware that people can see from behind me what I'm doing on my computer. Not that I'm doing anything bad, but I'm a private person. So yeah, sitting in the front, it does put a couple extra eyes on you in a sense. It just makes you, I would say, pay more attention, be more focused, be more engaged when you're in front. It's definitely a different feeling than being in the back or being on the second floor of the auditorium. Next, don't call home too much. I know some of y'all are gonna be looking at me like, oh my gosh, don't call home, what do you mean, like, are you crazy, girl? No, I'm not crazy. I talk to my mom every single day, once a day, unless like there's something going on and I need to be calling her and we need to discuss something. I talk to my mom only once a day. Me and my dad, we don't really have a relationship. I'll probably talk to him once a month, and that's okay, because homesickness is real. If you're constantly calling home like, mom, what's going on? Mom, what'd you cook for dinner? What did my little brother do? Or what's going on back home? Like, you know, you're not gonna really have a chance to enjoy college. You're not gonna have a chance to enjoy, you know, what's in front of you. Because I will say this, homesickness is very real, and that's coming from somebody who could not wait to go to college, who could not wait to move out. Homesickness is just so real, because honestly, you're transitioning, especially for me, I moved to damn near out of the state, but you're transferring from one city to another, from having your parents all your life to not having your parents, to having to live with strangers. It's a big transition. So I definitely say calling home excessively does not help. Matter of fact, I know people, I have friends in college who don't even call their parents weekly. Yes, I think that is crazy, just because me and my mom are really close. Me and my mom are really close, so I have to talk to her every day, because like I have to tell her what went on in my day, she has to tell me what went on in her day, and that's just how our relationship is. But if you can, like, you know, limit yourself to calling home once a day, do that. And if you have parents who are overbearing, you know, you're an adult now, so don't be afraid to be like, mom, dad, you know, like, can we like make up a schedule for them? Be like, you know, maybe we can talk to each other every morning before I have class, and you know, that could be our phone call for the day, you know. And that's just my advice. You know, you don't have to follow that. If you're somebody who likes to talk to your parents frequently, do that. But just keep in mind, it may be a bit harder for you to get adjusted if you are doing that. So, and that leads me to my next tip. Build a tribe, you guys. Like I said, you transitioning from one city to another, you're more than likely not going to know people unless, like, I will say I knew a couple people going into college, or I knew a few people going into college, because number one, I went to 2 high schools, so a lot of people like in my area actually did matriculate to my university, and FAMU and TCC, so I knew people in my area. But regardless, I don't even talk to those people like that. Like, I probably talk to the people who I just met more, and that's what you're supposed to do in college. So my next tip is build a tribe. And when I say build a tribe, I mean have you know, that group, those group of people, or a person or someone who you can call to when you're in a rough spot, or when you're feeling homesick, or you know, when you're not feeling your best, or when you're a little sad, because you know, mental health is real. Find a good church home, find organizations with people who are like-minded, who are interested in the same things as you, where you guys can build friendships off of that. I found a church home in Tallahassee. I go to Family Worship and Praise Center. I actually didn't even start attending church regularly until I started college, because I think for me that was something that I needed, that made me feel better. I was now independent, and it wasn't as like I was forced to go to church. It was something that I wanted to do, and I enjoyed the church, and that's just how it was. I joined Sisters, great organization. I made a lot of friends, and you know, that is what it is. So I definitely encourage people to get involved on campus, join organizations, see what you like, see what you don't like, and take it from there. My next tip, number 5, is to save your money or to budget. College is expensive. College is really expensive because you have to keep in mind the cost of tuition, the cost of transportation, the cost of living, the cost of books, the cost of food, the cost of clothes, the cost of mental health, the cost of love, the cost of energy, the cost of breathing, the cost of everything. If you want to blink, it costs in college. Like if you even want to just move, it costs $1. Moved from South Florida to North Florida. I was used to having a job like at all times. So coming from having like income coming in, because one thing about me is I'm a spender. Spend a check and get it right back. Like that was my vibe, like for real. But no, in college, like especially if you're not working, which was me for like the first year, your refund check and your parents are your only source of income. So I knew that when I got that refund check, that point blank period, I was paying my rent up front. I was paying my rent for the whole semester and the first month of the next semester, just in case financial aid decided to get crazy or something went down where your money didn't disperse on time. Guess what? All else fails, you're not homeless. Like, I don't care what nobody says. When you get that refund check, pay your rent. If you do not live on campus, if you live off of campus and you get a refund check, especially if you get a large sum refund check, pay your rent, 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 pay your rent. Because, okay, y'all saying, what about books? Okay, you gonna buy the books, and where you gonna bring the books to if you don't got no house? I'll wait. Exactly. So pay your rent, and then whatever else, figure it out. So number 6, this is be mindful of your actions. Ooh, y'all, I cannot stress this enough. I can't stress this enough. Behave yourselves, behave yourselves, behave yourselves, behave yourselves. It's crazy to me because I used to be so wild before I got to college. Like, I'm talking about, like, if you are an OG subscriber and you have been following me on Instagram and all that stuff, you will know what I'm talking about. Like, I used to bartend, I used to do all that crazy stuff. I used to be at the club when I was in high school. I worked at the club when I was in high school. I used to be dancing on bars, you know, uploading it to my Instagram. Not the smartest thing to do. Just be mindful, because, and when I say be mindful, I mean be mindful on and off social media. Be careful of what you post. Be careful of what you say, because now, and you may not think it, but honey, people are watching. Your school is watching. People from school are watching. Like, especially if you live in a town like me. Tallahassee is a small town, and the black community at FSU is only so big. So pretty much everybody knows everybody, and even if they don't know you, most of the time people talk. And you know, once people say something, the story will end up getting confused. So you just don't want to put yourself in situations where you're gonna look bad. And especially as a woman, I'm not gonna be too like explicit with this. As a woman, just be mindful. Be mindful, because even when you're not wrong, as a woman, you're wrong. Like, that's just how our society is. And I'm not trying to say, you know, live your life to those expectations or anything, but in college, reputation does matter. If you're trying to get an internship, if you're trying to get a position, if you're trying to do anything, even some organizations, they care about that. It's important. So I would just say, be on your best behavior. Be mindful of what you post on social media. Like, for example, there are certain things I do not put on my social media, and it's bad because I kind of want to, because it's like, damn, well, that's the real me. But at the same time, I know that if a potential employer were to see it, or if a professor was to see it. I know eventually I am going to be a candidate for grad school, and I don't want anything that I've done in the past or anything that I thought was minuscule to affect my chances of an opportunity that I may have in the future. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave that as that, and I'm going to move on to our next tip. So with that being said, the next advice I have for you guys is to number 7, use your school resources. Universities have so much resources that they offer to students, and it's free because they already, for some reason, you know, tuition is not high for no reason, you guys. The schools have so many resources for us, like especially if you go to a university, there you have the gym for free. I know my school, we have the safety bus, so if you're on campus late night studying, you can call the safety bus and they will drive you to your car or drive you to your dorm or drive you wherever on campus you need to go so that you do not have to walk in the dark, and it's free. My school, they have free counselors or therapists or psychiatrists. I'm not sure the exact professional name for them, and you can see these psychiatrists as many times as you want for free. And I went to one this semester. I'm not ashamed to say I went to the psychiatrist, because as I said before, mental health is extremely important, and sometimes it's good to talk to somebody who you don't know, because they can give you insight on a lot of things. So I will say, with that being said, use your resources. Don't be afraid to use your resources. It's not embarrassing. Like, they have all these free stuff for us. They have tutoring for free. When I was struggling with math, I went to so many help sessions, so many tutors that were completely free, and it helped me so much. What else do they have for you that's free? I had a couple, like the bus route, like the city bus. Like when I lived off campus, the city bus was free for students. So things like that. Even though I had a car, I was still hopping on the city bus because A, parking was bad, and B, I needed to save gas. So use your resources. Don't be ashamed. If you're in a hard time, talk to somebody, because I know, again, my school, we have a food pantry. So if you're hungry or if you don't have money to buy groceries towards the end of the semester, you can go to the food pantry. Just the same as if you have leftover food before you go home and you don't want to throw it out, you could drop it off at the food pantry. So use your resources, help somebody, get some help, do what you need to do. My next tip is to be safe. When I say be safe, I mean be safe. Like, you're in college now, so your parents are not monitoring your every move. Essentially, the only person who might really be there for you is probably your roommate. And I say your roommate's gonna be there because even if you guys don't talk to each other, even if y'all are on bad terms, y'all live together. Like, y'all share the same living space or the same common area or whatever. So, you know, if you go out one night and you go out by yourself, or if you're meeting your friends somewhere, it's not a bad idea to leave a note on the fridge at your house saying you're going to be XYZ, you're wearing XYZ outfit, just in case anything happens to you or anything should transpire. There's some type of documentation of where you are, where you went, what you're wearing, because it sounds scary, and I'm really not trying to scare you guys. I'm not trying to scare any parents out there either that are watching this, but even before I've been to college, I've seen so many missing posters or kids going missing or college students going missing. It happens. It happens. It happens. Like, this is the real world. I know me personally, sometimes, like, I come home late from work, or I'll go to the library like 12 o'clock at night, because that's just how I am. Honey, this is my keychain. My keychain, it has so much stuff on this. You know I'm coming from a mile away. But as soon as I start to feel some type of way, or I'm a paranoid person, I jump at my shadow, I don't care. I start to clutch my pepper spray, because anybody want to try me, they're getting pepper sprayed. That's point blank period. Like, be mindful of your surroundings, know where you're going, make sure your car has gas in it, especially for my ladies out there. Do not get caught slipping late night, your car don't have enough gas in it and you run out of gas. I never let my gas tank or my gas needle go below E. That's just one of my rules, because you never know, especially if you're not familiar with the area. I know sometimes, even up to today, me living in Tallahassee for a year, sometimes I have to put my address in my phone to get home because I don't know where I'm going. So just make sure you always have gas in your car, make sure you know where you're going. I would recommend that you try to learn to change a tire as well, because also if you're like me and you commute city to city, I do an 8-hour drive. I try not to do those drives at night, but anything can happen. You can blow a tire, you can run out of gas. You don't want to be on the road waiting for some stranger who you don't know to come help you to change your tire or to try and give you help. No. If you don't got no OnStar button in your car, you need to either have AAA, and even AAA, they take too long. You need to know how to change your tire. You need to be a self-made bitch. You need to be a boss-ass bitch, because no man is about to come and take advantage of you. Okay, I'm rambling. Okay, so anyway, number 9, make a calendar / a schedule, you guys. College, you're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy. Like, once you start joining organizations, once you start joining clubs, once you start making friends, like, you're gonna be busy, and your schedule is gonna get so hectic, and you're gonna get exhausted, and you're gonna overexert yourself, and you're gonna forget some things. So I suggest coming up with a schedule, a planner. If you want to buy planners, if you want to buy a passion planner, I know some people are really into that. I tried it, doesn't really work for me. I use Google Calendars because it's synced with my phone, it's synced with my laptop, everything's systematic. So I know when I have an event in my Google Calendar, it's going to remind me 1,000,001 times, or I'm going to know because it's on my phone. Just like you may have a test coming up, you have like, you're going to be having like 4 to 5 to 6 classes. You're not going to be able to remember all your tests. You may have some tests that'll fall on one day and you'll end up having 3 tests one day. You need to have a calendar to remind you. So I would recommend, as soon as you get your syllabus, just put everything in your Google Calendar, or put everything in your passion planner, or whatever you choose, so that way you know if there's a party coming up, put it in the planner, so that way you can, you know, adjust your study times or your whatever around that. And next up is to number 10. Remember your goal, remember your purpose, remember why you're in college, remember the reason why you're there. We are all here, no matter what our major or our area of study may be. We are there to be there for 4 or 5 years, 5 years if you're engineering, to get a degree, to obtain a bachelor's degree. If you're in grad school, to obtain a master's or whatever it is that you're trying to get. And that's what the common goal is. And just remember that there's so much that goes on in college. It's easy to get caught up. It's easy to, you know, lose sight and focus on things that are less important. But I think as long as you remember that, you know, it's okay to still have fun, to, you know, step out of your comfort zone and do things, but just remember to keep in mind your studies, because the last thing you want is to have wasted your time. Because guess what? College isn't like high school. There's no remedial, there's no. If you fail a class, if you get dropped, guess what? You're gonna have to pay for that class again next semester, and that may set your graduation date behind. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Can't wait to see you guys again. If you guys are already back in school, comment down below when you went back to school. Tell me how your first day was. If you're not, let me know what school you go to down below and when you guys go back to school. I go back to school on the 27th. It's the 13th. I really don't want to talk about it because it's actually really sad to me. But I am ready for a fresh start. I know for me personally, I love the fresh start of a new semester. It's a clean slate. The opportunities are endless. So I love me a new semester. That's all I have to say for today. If y'all haven't already, go ahead and follow me on social media so we can stay connected. I have my Instagram, my Snapchat up there. I'm on Instagram most of the time, but yeah, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Make sure y'all follow me at _Jadalynn and La Princesa Jada on Snapchat. Thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all. Bye.